Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Hernandez versus Rodrigues. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So we scroll on down. First fight we have on the card is in the women's strawweight division. We got Dyer versus Elise Reed. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go average confidence Dyer to beat Elise Reed. And I just feel like Dyer is just the more dynamic fighter overall. I feel like she has the more dynamic kicking game, the faster hand, she does more volume. I believe the younger fighter, let me double check on that. You have 25 versus 33. She'll be 3 inches taller, have a 2-inch reach advantage. So yeah, I'm liking really a lot of upside. It's not like Reed has good power. It's not like Reed is physically strong. Like, yeah, I feel like she might have the slightly sharper boxing, but again, not really much power behind it. Dyer should be able to close that space if she needs to throw in volume. Or fight from distance with her kicks. Either way, she can beat her inside or beat her outside. You know, with the kicks or inside with the clinch and the knees and the volume. But yeah, she should have Reed cover here. Reed is tough. She'll be game. I think it's a competitive fight. But I think it'll be a clear decision after 15 minutes for Dyer. I just think she's the better overall fighter here. Much more upside, just much more talent. And I think she should be able to outstrike and Reed and, again, beat her at distance, mid-range, beat her in the clinch. You know, beat her in all facets wherever this fight may take place. So in this one, I got Dyer via decision. Now to the next fight we have in the women's, in the middleweight division, we got Jackson McVey versus Wes Schultz. And how do I feel about it? Would be two ugly women. But anyway, Jackson McVey versus Wes Schultz. And how do I feel about this one right here is I go low confidence Jackson McVey to beat Wes Schultz. Wes Schultz actually, funnily enough, does have a win over McVey in the amateurs from, 2018, 2020, something like that, some years ago. Via submission, he got him out there pretty quickly. But I feel like McVey has become the better fighter. I'm not too amazed by either guy, and I don't think I'll ever be too amazed by either guy, but I do feel like Jackson McVey is the better overall fighter and more put together fighter. I feel like Wes Schultz's striking is still very questionable, still very sloppy, still very patchy. McVey, I'm not going to act like he's the world's elitist striker, but he does have some rhyme and reason to his strike. Like, he got some sharp knees. He got the basic fundamentals. I feel like Wes Schultz don't have the fundamentals. He just kind of just throws. Like, he kind of just close his eyes and swing. It could be a bit effective, to be honest, but literally his striking just like swinging with his eyes closed. He got a very low striking. Can't even say he got the fundamentals down. He just throws. McVey he at least got the fundamentals down. Not at elite level fundamentals, but you told him to hit some mitts, do a 1-2. He could do a 1-2. I feel like West Shore, you try to tell him a 1-2. He look probably like a soccer mom doing 1-2, even on the mitts. Like maybe at least he could do the 1-2 or whatever. Again, not at no super elite level by any means, but he can sting you with it and can do some damage with it. But again, nothing too pretty. But Charles on the other side, I mean, he can sting you too, but it's like sloppiness. The technique is not there on the feet. He probably, as far as pure grappling, West Shaw's probably better pure grappling. This is in May fight. I think McVey will be able to use his length, use his reach, and his more technical striking to piece up West Shaw on the feet, which will open up again, it's an MMA fight. Pure grappling, yeah, you can't punch someone in the face, but when you add in punch someone in the mouth, punching someone in the mouth, and what I'm saying like that. When you add in punching someone in the mouth and need someone in the gut, need someone in the chest, need someone in the chin, it's not the same grappling match as you just saying, you can't punch me in the face, you can't kick me in the head, you can't knee me in the chest, you can't kick my leg, you can't stab me in the stomach with a toe or nothing, can't teep me in the chest, teep me in the stomach, can't head kick me. Yeah, it's not the same fight. Then you start adding those in, it's not a pure grappling match. So the fact that it's not a pure grappling match, and I feel like McVey has improved more, in my opinion, than Wes Schultz. I think that will open the fight. I think I'm looking at like a late first round TKO for Jackson McVey. So in this one, I got Jackson McVey via first round TKO. Now to the next fight we have in the lightweight division, we got Gage Young versus Stan Dorsainville. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go average confidence Gage Young to beat Stan Dorsainville. And I'll be to the point this one. I think that Stan Dorsainville is a solid talent, but like he's pretty well rounded, but I just feel like he's not UFC level yet. And it's no insult to him. I think people like he saw opportunity, he's jumping on it, but I just feel like he's just missing a lot right now. Not to say that he won't ever have it, but it's right now, and like he's still like a fighter that's developing, and he has not took a test nowhere near this level. And I feel like his skills aren't there just yet. Like he still needs some tuning. I feel he's taking an opportunity. It's good to see a young fighter take those opportunities when they present himself. because you never know when they'll present themselves again. So take them, and the balls to take the fight. It's probably a fight. I think he always knows the uphill battle. Like he probably feel like it's a fight he probably shouldn't take. It's a fight he probably won't win, but he's got the balls to take it. But yeah, all that being said, like I still think he loses. I feel like Gage Young's the better wrestler. He's a better striker, and the more polished fighter. Also, Gage Young is a young fighter who has been there with some real elite competition. And he hasn't got that experience. Dorsainville has not got that experience. Gage Young will be that experience for him. But I feel like, again, I just don't feel like his skills are all that fleshed out yet. Like, again, I see everything I need to see, but I need to see those skills developed. And I don't feel like they aren't developed enough to really, for him to excel or even really win and be at UFC level just yet. But yeah, I just think Gage Young going to be too much for him overall. Have an answer for everything he does, be a step ahead, and be able to break him down in this fight and stop him early, mid, second round via TKO. So in this one, I got Gage Young via second round TKO. Now the next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got Marcio Barbosa versus Ryan Koozie. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go high confidence Marcio Barbosa to beat Ryan Koozie. And Koozie is a tough guy, but I don't really see where he has an edge over Barbosa. I think Barbosa's a better grappling, he's a better striker, he's the more proven fighter. Yeah, Koozie will be tough, he'll be game, but I think that toughness going just leads him to taking a beating, more of a beating than he should take of a beating. But I see like a second round TKO for Marcio Barbosa. I think Koozie will be tough. He'll be game. Now keeping the fight, he'll make it a fight out of it, but it'll be a fight where he's just getting beat down and just severely outmatched here. And I see Barbosa stopping him in the second round. So in this one, I got Marcio Barbosa via second round TKO. Now the next fight we have in the lightweight division, we got Haqparast versus Chris Padilla. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go low confidence Haqparast to beat Chris Padilla. Yeah, I feel like Padilla's style is too straightforward. It's very effective. It's very damaging. But I feel like at the higher level, I don't feel like Haqparast is like this truly, he's a top 10 level talent or whatever. But I feel like he's a guy that could, compete around the levels, maybe even sneak into the top 15 or whatever. And I feel like he does have the skills. He has been there with some guys. No, he's been there with Bobby Green. He lost to Bobby Green. He's been in there with Dan Hooker. He's been in there with more elite guys than Padilla. He's been in with some solid veterans too, so he has way more experience against elite competition. Again, it ain't really the most bragging, thing to brag about because it's not like he probably have 1-4 or 1-5 against elite fighters or something like that. But he has fought a lot of guys around the level where he and Padilla at. And he has more experience in that area. And Haqparast is a guy that has decent boxing, he has decent raw skill set, decent durability, decent conditioning. And he's not going to be a guy that's going to just be there to be hit by Padilla. Like, he's going to move. He's not going to go straight back. And I feel like in Padilla's last fight, he did show that flaw. Like, when someone just doesn't allow him to just impose their will on him, when someone's able to circle, you start to see him kind of like the flaws in his game. Like, he's very square, so he can't cut the cage off that well. His offense is very linear, forward and back. Like, he's not that great at cutting the cage off. Like, he'll come forward, aggressive. He'll look to cut you up and bust you up. But when he can start to circle and work behind the jab, you can see where his struggles start coming in. He can become very predictable. Like, he's just looking for the same shots over and over again, just looking to be aggressive. And it's good. That's a good thing, but when it's too predictable, anytime you're too predictable in MMA, that could be a bad thing. I feel like Haqparast has just a more polished game. Not to say that Padilla is not good, not to say that it's not a close fight on paper, and I'm not knocking him. Padilla is definitely extremely live here. It's not a bad pick. Haqparast's not a bad pick. It's a pick-em fight in my opinion. Whatever the odds say at the end of the day, whether it's pick-em now, heavy favorite, this, heavy that. In my eyes, this is a pick-em fight. By no means, I'm saying, put your whole house on this guy, or put your whole house on the guy. I feel like the guy going this fight, but I'm going Haqparast. I feel like his experience will be invaluable here, and he'll be able to make the better adjustments in this fight, and he'll do a good job of exploiting the flaws in Padilla's game and how predictable he can be and how linear he can be, and showing him the flaws in his game. But competitive fight, I think Haqparast will be able to do a good job staying mobile, mixing the shots, and not being a stationary target for Padilla to, just walk down. So in this one, I got Haqparast via decision. Now the next fight we have in the heavyweight division, we got Gaziev versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go low confidence Kennedy Nzechukwu to beat Gaziev. And largely this fight, while I'm picking Nzechukwu's momentum. And it's not like he was Even outside of momentum, it's not like Nzechukwu didn't have a decent stylistic matchup here for Gaziev. So Nzechukwu mostly has been a durable guy. Mostly. It's been some fights where he's been ran through. But mostly he's been a durable guy, a well-conditioned guy, a guy that can weather a storm, come back and get a finish, or, battle, come out the victor. And sometimes he has a fight, like I say, he has some fights where he's been ran through. He has some fights where he's ran through opponents. But all in all, he's a decent talent, former light heavyweight, and still got a pretty good size at heavyweight. We like 6'6", and he got like a reach comparable to John Jones. Yeah, 83-inch reach, 6'5". So he got a good frame for heavyweight. It's not like Gaziev is a guy that's this big imposer as far as his grappling. At best, he can have one strong round of grappling. He can't grapple for 15 minutes. He can't even grapple, I grappled 3 minutes this round, 2 minutes this round. Like, it's like really one round and done as far as the grappling. And at this level, it's like he's not even getting a finish there. It'd just be a waste of his energy, if anything. And it's also going to be a thing where if you're a fight where it's close and then he gets a takedown and tries to grind you out and throw around, like he's just not that guy. So his grappling is really not that effective. I think Nzechukwu will be able to address that. He's been in with better grapplers. So I think he'll be able to address that if Gaziev tries to go that route. Also, again, and Gaziev is coming off 2 brutal knockout losses, so that's something else to weather in there. And Nzechukwu got underrated power. But what I've seen this fight, I feel like pretty even fight. Gaziev maybe trying to come out aggressive, but I feel like Nzechukwu can whether it be his striking approach, or it be his clinching approach, or whether it be his grappling approach. If, worst case scenario, be able to weather that, stay in the fight, and battle back in the fight. And again, that's the worst case scenario. But ultimately, I kind of feel like a kind of even fight. But Nzechukwu building the fight, and Gaziev and a guy that historically does not build well in the fight. If anything, he's a guy that kind of breaks down with the fights. He starts to show the flaws in the fight, starts to fatigue, starts to mouth breathe, starts to pull at his trunks. So I can see Nzechukwu dig into his body with some kicks, some knees. Is the fight whether on some battling and clinch, but Gaziev fading, gassy Gaziev, gassing, and Nzechukwu picking it up as he has done in multiple fights, and then starting to break Gaziev down, put the tempo on Gaziev, put the pace, put the volume on Gaziev, put the pressure on him, and I see him stopping Gaziev in the third round via TKO. So in this one, I got Kennedy and Nzechukwu via third round TKO. Now to the next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got Jamal Emmers versus Larion Douglas, and how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go average confidence, Larion Douglas to beat Jamal Emmers. And Jamal Emmers is a solid talent, but one of those guys that has seemingly all the talent in the world, but just finds ways to lose. So I'll say that there. But I think Larion Douglas is even at his best, Emmers at his best, in not making mistakes. I think Larion Douglas is a tough stylistic matchup, very physical, very big, powerful featherweight. I think he do a good job of addressing any grappling that Emmers tries to bring at him. Respect the striking of Emmers. And I think Emmers is a guy like he come off to a good start and he could fade hard as well. So I think Larion Douglas is going to do a good job of pressuring Emmers, make him panic, pressure him, put some heat on him, make him panic, try to wrestle a little bit, stuff his takedowns, dig to his body, and maybe a good little competitive scrap through the first. But I can see Douglas wearing his shots better, and when Emmers starts to feel the power of Douglas, I can see Emmers starting to wilt, very, visibly wilt in the fight. And Douglas just continue to build in the fight, continue to work, continue to put him on the back foot, build up the combinations, and start to break Emmers down. And I see a second round TKO for Larion Douglas. So in this one, I got Larion Douglas via second round TKO. Now to the next fight we have in the heavyweight division, we got Anthony Wint versus Terrence Chapman. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go average confidence Anthony Wint to beat Terrence Chapman. And could go high confidence, but it's still in reality Wint really did nothing to this guy is really the truth yet. I'll keep watching. I'm not gonna be like somebody that gets so quickly get suckered into somebody like, he's the truth because look at his traps, look at his back, look at his shoulders, look how many muscles he got. Former football player, they're the greatest athletes in the world. Like, cool and all. Either way, I don't give him the highest ceiling. I think they give him the red carpet right now. But even on the red carpet, there are no guaranteed wins. So you feel like it's guaranteed they could try to roll the red carpet out you. I'm making a word. Red carpet. They could roll the red carpet out for you and feel like, I could just walk in this fight. It's an easy win. At the end of the day, it's a fight of the day. It's not WWE. It's not scripted. So whenever it's not scripted, even the person that you should be not a lot of times, but enough times, that person that you're supposed to beat can end up beating you. And then they could turn your red carpet moment to a red carpet moment for them. So, yeah. I'll say that. But, yeah, Chapman seemed decent. I mean, I don't say decent. He seems okay enough. Like, he got a chance. If I saw, this guy, this weak BJJ guy with, no wrestling and zero power, that'd be probably a perfect style for Wint. Like, oh, this guy can't even take me down to save his life, and he got sissy hands. I just knocked this guy out. That'd be the perfect style of this match. Or maybe a sissy-handed kickboxer that he could just fling around and beat up. By the way, like somebody gotta be a sissy in what way? Like a sissy grappler or a sissy striker? Like, you know, maybe like that'd be a perfect match for him. But like Chapman got something to him. But yeah, Wint should run him over. But Chapman does have a chance. Like he does have a puncher's chance. I'll give him that. He does got some power. You gotta respect. Wint is still at the end of the day a green as far as MMA goes. So stuff can happen. But I think Wint still runs through in first round TKO. I think he'll be able to pose his will on, pose his physique on him, touch him with some power, be athletic, be explosive, get him to the ground, pound him out, get him out of there first round TKO. So in this one, I have Anthony Wint via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, we got Carly Judice versus Jesla Chaves. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go average confidence. Carly Judice to beat Jesla Chaves. Chaves, I feel really in this fight, I feel like her main thing is toughness, but it's not like Judice is a first round fighter. Like Judice can whoop you for 15 minutes. She puts a high pace, a very technical fighter. It's like not like Chaves, the more well-rounded fighter. She's not the more well-rounded fighter. Well, she's not the more well-rounded fighter. She don't got more power. She's not more technical. Like, so I'm really trying to struggle to see her angle. She's tough, but not like Judice's fighter. Oh, just going to just go out there crazy and only have one round and then be gassed in the second round. Judice's fighter, very much I would say, if anything, she's more of a value striker. She could definitely put the stamp on you, but she's more of a value striker. So you can expect her like, oh, you let her, she's going to throw 100 plus strikes. So it's not like you can be tough and she's going to hit you as many times as you're going to be tough. So, but she'll be tough. She'll make it a fight, I think, Chaves, but I think Judice will just be much sharper than her and really be picking her apart for most of the fight, the large majority of the fight, and beat her to a clear decision. Like I said, Chaves will make a fight of it, you know, hold her own, be tough, be game, but I just think Judice will be just the much sharper fighter and be able to beat her to a clear decision after 15 minutes. So in this one, I got Carly Judice via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Markel Mederos versus Mason Jones. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Mason Jones to beat Markel Mederos. So low confidence Mason Jones to beat Markel Mederos. And yeah, another close fight here. Mederos is definitely live here, but I gotta go Mason Jones. I think it's an overall combination of his style that will cause Mederos issues. So Mederos does not like to deal well with pressure. I mean, he does not like pressure. He's not really a counter striker. From what I've seen in fights, and even fights like a lot of his fights he's fought, it really was supposed to be fights like he's supposed to go out there and just look flawless, but he still ended up struggling and could have arguably even say he lost some of these fights or lost one of these fights. But yeah, struggled way more than he should have in several of these fights. You might even argue that he lost one of those fights. Not the one that was a draw, but like one of the ones that was a win. But yeah, he'll definitely be live in this fight. But again, I haven't really liked how he looked defending takedowns. Like as far as on the Contender Series, I like what I saw from as far as defending takedowns and countering takedowns. But as far as what I've seen since he's been in UFC, I've not liked his defense on wrestling. For the most part, I have not liked it. I don't like how he defended takedowns. I don't like how he got up from takedowns. I just feel like, struggled too much defending them, struggled too much getting back up from them. And then just the presence of takedowns, threw his game off so much. And Mason Jones is a guy that, he's going to apply pressure. He can strike. He's willing to get hit. He's going to go out there and be in your face. He's going to push a high pace, a lot of pressure. He's going to mix in takedowns. Now, I feel like in a fight that's already close, we start to add the takedowns, that's going to make Mederos question it whether he throws his kick. That's going to make Mederos question, his offense, let his hands go. And Jones will be the one pressing more. He's going to throw on volume, throwing heat, mixing the takedowns. And that's really going to slow down Mederos' game and have him, again, second guess himself too much. And Mason Jones is going to use that second guessing to get off of his own offense and have Mederos trying to battle back into the fight. That's never really a good spot to be in. But competitive scrap. But I think a clear win for Mason Jones after 15 minutes, just mixing the arts and never allowing Mederos to really get too comfortable in the fight and beat him in the decision. Competitive, but a clear win for Mason Jones after 15 minutes. Not 50, 15. So in this one, I got Mason Jones via decision. Now for the next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, we got Reinier de Ridder versus Roman Dolidze. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Reinier de Ridder to beat Roman Dolidze. And Dolidze is extremely live in here, and I can yap about this and yap about that. And I yapped enough about it in the quick pick. But yeah, momentum pick. I'm going Renee the Ritter because you know he's saying, oh, the weight cut was this, weight cut was that. So hey, he's not getting the weight cut right now. He's gonna be up 205. Let's see if he really reinvents himself. He does seem to be the more effective striker overall. Grappling may cancel out. I think Dolidze, in my opinion, is the better grappler. Like, he's effective off the bottom and on top. I feel like the Ritter, really, from what I've seen, is just more of a top grappler. Dolidze can hit sweeps, reversals, get submissions off his back. He can, yeah, he can really do damage off his back. Where the Ritter, I've not seen no great sweeps. If anything, when he got put on his back, he quit. Like, he didn't like that at all. So, yeah. And I think in general, he's just the bigger quitter of the two. So, Dolidze is extremely live here, but I'm going the Ritter momentum pick. I'll say decision. I think he'll be the busier striker of the two and the more successful striker of the two. And I think the grappling will relatively cancel it out. And again, the Ritter with this, without having to cut weight now, he'll be able to, again, push a higher pace. And it's not like Dolidze was at, you know, pretty much not. He has moments where he was like a little bit more high output, Dolidze. But ultimately, I feel like his pace at middleweight and his pace at light heavyweight is really the same. So it's like, oh, he at 205, he's going to throw more. Like, not really. His pace kind of same. I feel like with the Ritter, I feel like in general his pace in volume is higher than Dolidze. His output is higher than Dolidze. So let's see at 205 without having to cut weight, I expect his output to be even higher. So competitive fight, but going to lean to the guy that's going to be pushing more and seemingly, in my opinion, hungrier the Ritter. Now I see him winning the decision over Dolidze. So in this one, I got Renier the Ritter via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our co-main event in the heavyweight division. We got Sergey Spivac versus Vitor Petrino. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Vitor Petrino to beat Sergey Spivac. Yeah, I think Spivac is just the more technical fighter overall and the more athletic, more dynamic fighter. I feel like Spivac will be the better, you know, the more consistent as far as his pace. I'm not going to say doing more over the fight. I'm saying as far as his tempo, his pace will kind of be more consistent. I feel like Petrino's going to be here, kind of spike down a little bit. Whereas Spivac probably going to be here the whole time, maybe go up a little bit like that. So, but ultimately, Petrino's going to win. I think it goes the distance. I think Spivac will be solid enough to keep him honest. He has the boxing skills and the grappling skills to, you know, to keep Petrino honest enough, and he has the experience as well to keep Petrino honest. And it's never like Petrino's been the most well-conditioned fighter or the guy with the best gas tank. So, yeah, I don't see Petrino going it. Maybe in the early rounds he tried to blow his head off or whatever. But again, I think Spivac will be to stay in the fight, be to tie him up at time, maybe try to go for some takedowns or whatever just to slow the fight down. But it kind of be issues on both guys' sides. I feel like Petrino's solid enough on the ground to not get submitted by Spivac or really being too big of an issue or of a bad spot with Spivac there. And Spivac in general is really not that good of a finisher. And on feet, he's never been overpowered. I don't think today's going to boil. I don't think this Saturday is going to be when he's all of a sudden has power. Like, you know, he ain't had power then. He ain't really going to have power now. He got enough to get your respect, but he's not really a guy that's dropping people, hurting people, or really doing too much. He's never been a power puncher at any point in his career. So, yeah. I see Petrino being the more athletic, dynamic guy, getting off to a good start, working the kicks, working the strikes, looking to land shots over the top. You know, probably hurting Spivac a little bit, getting respect early. But then his fight wears on, Spivac really starts to outland him like in the third round and try to push the pace. But again, he just lacks that ability really to put a stamp on a guy. Maybe he put stamps on people that are deficient in grappling, like he did Derek Lewis and he did Tai Tuivasa and stuff like. That's really like he only finished with like 3 people in his whole UFC career. That just speaks like, and people that literally have either just like Derek Lewis just have just street grappling like with Derek Lewis, and Tai Tuivasa who just don't have no grappling at all. So like that's what people he finished. He's not a guy that's finishing people that actually have solid grappling skills or whatever. He's not really even finishing people on the feet. So yeah, I think Petrino gets up to a hot start, and Spivac just lacks the sting to really rally in this fight. He'll do enough to maybe steal a round or take a round, but I think Petrino's going to have enough skills and athleticism to be able to edge the first 2 rounds and then just kind of coast the third round and beat Spivac by decision here. So in this one, I got Vitor Petrino via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division, we got Anthony Hernandez versus Gregory Rodrigues. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Gregory Rodrigues to beat Anthony Hernandez. Yeah, Hernandez is a solid fighter. Definitely, you know, he's live. I'm not going to like, oh, Lord, look at Hernandez. He got a soft body. I'm going to say he does got a soft body. I'm saying that. That's why I'm picking against him. But I'm not acting like this is a lot because of that. Rodrigues does have the grappling skills to keep Hernandez honest enough. Like, he's a big body. I think a black belt in BJJ. If anything, I think his BJJ or his grappling is the first martial art he did. So he could address Hernandez grappling. And find those shots to the body and break Hernandez down. I think he stops him in the second round. But Hernandez can potentially weather the storm, and Rodrigues can be a guy that you don't necessarily have to have the most power to knock out. You just got to touch him. His defense can get very negligent. His neck could be very stiff. And this might be the guy that Hernandez might be able to knock out. But yes, a lot of this, a lot of that. But ultimately, what I see more consistently is that Hernandez is soft to the body. Rodrigues hits very hard. He's very dynamic. And I kind of see, it's kind of hard for me to see Hernandez weathering that much of a storm and making it to like a third round. I feel like if Rodrigues, with all the power he has, digs into that body, I don't feel like Hernandez is going to be able to weather that. And especially once he digs the body and has the power to bring it up top as well and touch that chin. Yeah, I just feel like Rodrigues is going to be, again, address the grappling, be heavy with the jab, work to the body, get Hernandez curl over, and then start this from the body, be able to get those hands to drop, find it on the top, and put Hernandez out early, mid, second round via TKO. But yeah, Hernandez is live, but I gotta go to Rodrigues here. I just feel like he definitely has the grappling to keep Hernandez honest, and then he has the striking to hit Hernandez where he's very vulnerable and be able to get him out of there. So in this one, I got Gregory Rodrigues via second round TKO. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Hernandez versus Rodrigues. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.